Did the details of complications post-vaginoplasty surgery make you uncomfortable? It's time to scroll on. I underwent peritoneal vaginoplasty surgery back in September 2024 and seemed to be having a pretty complication-free recovery until about August of this year. By that point I'd reduced dilations back to once every couple of days, and maybe we can leave this up to the imagination how it might have happened, but I suddenly became quite sore every time that I did have to dilate. This was accompanied by bleeding, which was a little concerning as I hadn't been bleeding for a couple of months before this, as well as some really quite bad smelling discharge. I did actually get quite anxious about the whole thing and ended up contacting my GP about 10 days after this all started occurring. They did ask me to come in and I did a swab test on myself, which they then sent off to check for any potential infections. I was also in touch with my surgeon, who told me that sometimes trapped blood can be the cause of quite foul smelling discharge, and that my symptoms weren't completely unusual for someone along the recovery as far as myself. Even around a month later, it was still really uncomfortable, like I was tearing open a fresh wound every time I had to dilate. At this point I was a bit worried that I might have given myself a fistula, or that it was potentially hypergranulation maybe. And this was all in the run-up to my video shoot in Turkey, which put even more pressure on the situation. I did actually manage to get an in-person appointment with my GP on my return, and they tried to reassure me as best they could that there were no complications, but it didn't leave me all too reassured as they weren't actually able to tell me what was going on. We are now another month on, and you'll be relieved to know that I'm no longer experiencing any of these symptoms. No more blood, no more discharge, and no more discomfort. I am so glad that everything's settled down, as it was really scary in the moment. But if anything, it's taught me that I've just got to be a little bit more careful and gentle with myself in the future.